Right, so quite quite many people joined. I hope you're all doing fine because the weather outside is quite nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, sunny day.
Right. Yeah, lovely, lovely autumn, isn't it? Okay, guys, so today we're going to do some kind of revision, and we're going to talk about some interesting topic as lexicography, and we are going to talk mainly about dictionaries, English dictionaries that we know. Yeah, but first of all, that would be lovely if we make some kind of revision of the unit of lexicology. Okay, so ready, steady, go. So guys, yeah, here it is. Yeah, we'll be looking at the revision. So guys, what did you learn from the unit of lexicology actually? What did you find out interesting for yourselves?
I guess the most interesting is probably the word formative process and to know the origin of the words, because, for instance, some of the words that looked so much simple for all of us, we have found out that they kind of have a deep root into the, I mean, Old English, Germanic, Proto-Germanic, and like they have a very interesting story and all of this. And for sure, for me, it's like word formative process, because I always try to kind of improve my vocabulary, and I guess like word formative processes such as like affixation and conversion are one of the best methods to enhance our vocabulary.
Okay, thank you very much for the brilliant answer, Laura. Yeah, thank you for your opinion. What about others? So Laura mentioned the etymology, word formation, yeah, development of morphemes, derivational process. What about others? What did you like about lexicology, the course of lexicology?
Can I add
Anyone?
something?
Yeah, sure, you can.
For example, not everyone knows idioms, for example, and other types of English language. For example, for our sentence, like how we use suffix, affixes, right? So, for me, it was motivation to learn more idioms and develop my English. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, actually, this the last week's topic was quite interesting, isn't it? It was about idioms, and at the seminar classes this week we will be discussing some new idioms as well. So yeah, that's actually interesting. Yeah, thank you, Arjan. What about others? Others who learned? Yeah, Arjan?
As for me, the most interesting ones were theories of language, like how language is learned. For example, Noam Chomsky's cognitive perspective. It was interesting for me to understand how children learn the language, and he says like that they are naturally born with the language, and they have a kind of flat and a universal grammar. Also, I like the Saussure's theory of language, and according to him, language is a social phenomenon. So for me, this was the most interesting thing in the course.
Right, thank you, Nastya. Thank you.
Yes.
That was interesting as well. Yeah, I really actually love myself. Myself, I love those theories. Actually, they make everything quite clear. Make everything clear how what is the process of learning the second language, even though they're talking about the first language development and first language acquisition mainly, but still they also somehow goes into the second language acquisition, and it's quite interesting, yeah, isn't it? Right, okay, and guys, so how those knowledges may help you to be better in teaching. So Laura said about derivational process, Arujan told about idioms, right? and Nastya told about theories of language acquisition, how those knowledges be useful for you in your teaching, in your work, in your future work. How can you apply those knowledges? Just your opinion. It's not something that I'm going to assess or.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go on.
I guess everyone mentioned at school that we learned English in maybe USSR period, for example. Our education system wasn't interesting in actually about only English language. So that's why we can just develop and use new training methods in education. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so new methods. So Arjan says that she got some kind of new methods from the course of lexicology. Okay. What about the theories that we talked about that actually Nastya really liked? Did they somehow explain to you how brain really works and how we can do better in language acquisition?
Well, I think that I'm not quite sure about Noam Chomsky's cognitive perspective because it is associated with the early periods of life in the majority of cases. But I think about this research theory of language, like he says that it is a social phenomenon. So language is acquired through the exposure into this environment. So during my lessons, probably I would implement lots of videos, lots of different dialects for students so that they will feel the environment as though they were in a foreign country and and they will practice their language there. Also, I like another theory, first contextual theory. It can also be implemented during classes, like we can describe the meaning of the words in context, not just using the dictionary, because we know that in dictionary, the meaning of words may not be fully explained. They can be just a translation of words, but we cannot understand the difference between like famous and notoriously famous. Both of these words mean знаменитый in Russian, but however, famous has a positive meaning and notorious has a negative meaning. So I think that these two theories I will definitely implement during my lessons.
Okay, thank you very much for a lovely answer. Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, we can actually make lots of logical connections between those theories and the process of language acquisition. And we can understand how really our brain works during the language acquisition, second language acquisition. Yeah. Thank you very much. Last time, not last time, actually, we had to discuss it. This very topic, it's about stylistic differentiation of words in English. So we somehow, in the very beginning, touched that subject, but we didn't go into depth of it. We are going to make it, we will try to make it quite quick. Actually, this very subject has direct connection to the next unit. That's a unit of stylistics, because in the unit of stylistics, we will be working with the with the analysis of style of the text, and etc., right? So, guys, do you know that there are words, different words in English, yeah, and they have different styles. You know those types of styles, they are bellettrist style, yeah. Can you remind me? Can you help me? What else? Official style, academic style.
Letters, yeah, letters,
Newspaper.
Newspaper style. Okay, good. Yeah. So depending on the classification, given by different academics. We have different scholars, linguists. We have 4 to 6 to 7 different styles in English. Yeah, we can say official style, newspaper style, oratory style. We may consider colloquial, vulgar language, and etc. etc. Okay, so here is the literally bookish words. These are the words that, so literary bookish words, they belong to the formal style, let's say. They are not something that we use quite often every day. So usually we learn them, we meet with them in the descriptive passages of fiction, yeah, fiction books, yeah. Who does read fiction quite a lot? Yeah, those know those face these literally bookish words quite often. Yeah, Shahzadat, please. And yeah, in scientific texts, we often maybe during the lectures, yeah, we are looking at the during the seminars, during the home task, we are looking at the scientific text. Remember, even Halliday's book is actually a scientific linguistic text. Yeah. And even when you are listening to the radio, media, television announcements, they are also literary bookish words. Especially when you are listening to the news, you will find out many literary, really official words, right? News announcements. Yeah, and of course, documents, some kind of business correspondence, official talks by politicians or influential people. So these are the spheres, places, and context where you can where you can meet these literary bookish words. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the very interesting thing that those literary bookish words in English are mainly borrowed words. Yeah, they mainly came from Latin, Greek, French. The interesting thing about that is that all the loan word, no, say main part of the loan words are literary bookish words. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so great. So the next one is here. Let's look at the literary bookish words, and they are, let's say, subdivisions. Yeah, we have terms, scientific words here, as you may see. Yeah, terms as Renaissance, genocide, teletype. What kind of terms and scientific words do you guys know? Can you think of them?
Scientific words? Scientific?
Mm-hmm. Words
For
about
instance,
on terms.
when we
Sorry.
covered, for instance, like when we covered the last stratum of Latin words, they were all dedicated to the medicine, actually. Yeah. So it can be like molecular, vaccine. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So everything that is about science, yeah, about terms, actually, they are about loan words. Yeah, mainly they are loan words. Okay, what about poetic words? Do you know any poetic words except those that are given here? Those who read Shakespeare quite often. Is there anyone who loves Shakespeare? No? Okay. So to be honest, I'm not into the literature of English. I'm not that very person who loves literature a lot. However, I have that very favorite word of mine, oft. So it is spelled as O-F-T. Yeah. Can you guess what does it mean? Oft.
Often.
Often, yeah, absolutely. So this is very interesting, right? Poetic. This is quite poetic. Oft. It sounds very nice. It sounds very short and still beautiful, in my opinion. Yeah. So these kind of words, poetic words, there are actually many of them. Absolutely many of them. Like gore. Gore actually refers to blood, or we can say array. Array refers to clothes. Yeah, the clothes that we are wearing every day. These are the poetic words, and they may sound quite different, and we may not understand them because they're not used in our everyday modern English. They are considered as mm, words that are traditionally used only in poetry. Yeah. If you do read um, poems of John Keats, um, Lord Byron, you will find out many of those words, and probably you will have some kind of challenges in understanding the meaning of those words, but you will find out them quite often. And by reading, by interacting with such masterpieces, you will make your speech quite wide and colorful. I remember I used to have a not friend, but I lived with a wonderful lady, British lady, back in my studies, during my studies, and her son was very keen on literature and especially poems. And he used to speak. In his speech, there were so many poetic words, and when he was speaking to me and to his to his homies, I could not understand what he was talking about. So they do understand each other, like British native speakers, but unfortunately, uh, there is a high risk that we will not understand them. Yeah, because the poetic words are not some words that are used quite often in everyday English. Yeah. Even though it's the same with Kazakh and Russian, I guess we do use some poetic words in our everyday speech, and probably the people who are acquiring the language, Russian or Kazakh, they may find it challenging to understand those words as well, yeah, depending on the context. Okay. So, right, the next one are the archaism. Okay, let's talk about the archaism. So, do you guys know what are the archaisms?
Is it like the words that have been used very often, like in the past, but nowadays they are not used by the modern speakers because modern speakers find out like more, I mean, replace them with another words.
Absolutely, yeah, Laura, that's
Like in Russian
absolutely
language, we have like the word ochi, right? But we don't say ochi, we say глаза.
yeah, right, yeah, good. Absolutely true. So the archaisms are the, let's say, words that are no longer used, but you still find interesting examples of archaism in literature, especially in Shakespeare. And also, you can find some of them in nursery rhymes. You know what are nursery rhymes, guys?
Is it
Mhm.
songs for children?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. For children, thank you, Marjan, for children in the kindergarten or in the nursery schools. Yeah, and also you can find them in laws in the Constitution of the UK, in the Constitution of the US, in some religious tracts, in religious books. Also, if you look at the geography and other sciences, you will find out some terms like as archaisms there as well, especially in geography. That's I for me, the archaisms are considered as the like a window to the past. You can look at the um, past of the language itself by uh, by studying those, by making research on those words. They're very interesting. Okay. Um, the word deem, yeah, actually here it is given. For me, when I hear the word deem, I imagine something different, not the word, not the verb think, but in fact, it is the meaning for the word think or glee. Oh yeah, glee actually is somehow associated with joy, yeah, especially in religious tracts. If you read them quite a lot, Christian tracts, you will find out that very word quite often. Glee, glee, glee. It's all about the joy, yeah, some kind of happiness. Okay, right. So barbarisms. You know what barbarisms are, yeah, guys? Can you provide me with some examples on barbarisms?
Shower, for
Example.
example.
For example,
Yeah,
prima
ciao.
donna.
Prima donna,
Don't
ciao.
yeah.
Okay. What was that, Marshall? Sorry. I couldn't get it. Okay. Anyways, right. Yeah. Also, we have that folks pass, bouquet. You know the word bouquet, girls. You know them. You know it, right? Bouquet is the like the bunch of flowers. This is a barbarism as well. So bouquet came from French and it was not assimilated at all. It is pronounced as it is pronounced in French. So actually, this is the like pure barbarism in English. Okay, and we have neologisms. So I'm 100% sure that you know what are the neologisms. Guys, anyone, any volunteers who would like to provide the
Just the new words.
definition?
Yeah, like
Mhm.
neologisms. Just the new words.
Yeah. So, Laura, thank you. And the very interesting thing that it's not just the new words, yeah, it's not the words that derived, but neologisms are the words or word groups that denote some new concepts that the new concepts that did not exist before. Yeah, for instance, smartphone. Yeah, did we have that very neologism in 20th century? No, we didn't have, because we didn't have smartphones. We didn't have actually phones in the beginning of 20th century, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, 19th century, let's say. Yeah, or the word Magalog. Do you guys know what a Magalog? What is a Magalog? Yeah, Magalog is the kind of a catalog with advertisements where you can find out the goods that are in sale, and you can just um, phone that very company and say, okay, I need this thing from that very page from my Magalog. This is the catalog, that Magalog, from the word magazine and catalog. Yeah, very interesting thing. So actually, in the previous, like, centuries ago, we didn't have that tendency. Humanity didn't have that tendency to shop from home, but just by calling, just by scrolling the mouse on our computer, yeah. Or for instance, the word keyboard, computer, internet, they are also considered as neologisms, but just because they are so much absorbed into our minds, because we all know what they are, we do not even understand that these are the neologisms actually, because we quite got used to them. Right, okay. Let's look at the colloquial words. Oh, we love them, don't we? Colloquial words, studying colloquial words actually interesting. Yeah. And we have literary colloquial words and non-literary. Yeah. So let's talk about non-literary colloquial words first. So they are slangs, they are jargonisms, they are vulgarisms, and a very interesting thing, they are professionalisms. Do you guys know the difference between those categories of non-literary words? Mhm. Guys,
For
what is it?
example, professional
Yeah.
terms are used in different areas of jobs, sciences maybe. Science. Sorry.
Yeah, good, good. Yeah. So actually, what are professionalisms? They are that kind of words. They are colloquial words, and they are usually used by the people of some kind of certain profession, mainly. Yeah, and usually they are informal. For instance, the word smash up. Have you ever heard about the word smash up? So actually, smash up, it has the meaning of an accident. Usually for people who are driving the cars, they may have an accident or smash up, or the very nice abbreviation high five, hi-fi. Yeah, we even had a band, Russian band called Hi-Fi. So do you guys remember what is hi-fi? Something about sound. So it means the high fidelity. It's about the quality of the sound, hi-fi, high fidelity of the sound. So sound producers, sound directors, they use that very professionalism. And these kind of words, they cannot be used in literary texts, but they are mostly about everyday language. For instance, I believe that you guys students, as students, you have some kind of, let's say, studentisms. Yeah, I heard that some of you call the dorm as Rata or Rata. I don't remember, how do you call it? Rata, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Anyone who is living in the dorm? Who is from the dorm? Hello? Nope. Okay. So what some of my no, okay, no. So I heard from a student who's studying at SDU that she was calling the dormitory not as a dorm, not as a общага, as we usually call it, but jata. I don't know why. So this is kind of a professional abbreviation for the word dormitory. Very interesting, isn't it? Okay, vulgarisms. What are those words actually? And what is the difference? Ratashka sometimes. Okay, thank you. Good. What about vulgarisms? What is the difference between vulgarisms and the normal, non-literary subdivisions as slangs, professionalisms, guys?
It's like the words that are used by non-educated people, something like that.
Yeah, but I think nowadays vulgarisms can be used by everyone, not only on non-educated people. So, okay, so when we say damn, bloody hell, yeah, when we are a lot emotional, we may use even worse things. I'm not going to pronounce it here, yeah, but like the soft words as bloody hell or damn it, yeah, they are considered as vulgarisms, and they have that very abusive character, and they can be very obscene. They have that, and they are actually highly indecent. You can't use it in a highly aristocratic society. You can't use it. You can't use those words, vulgarisms, in the professional with professional academic or official context. So this is that thing that I consider is quite undecent, quite obscene. So please do not use them when you're talking to your teachers or being at the lesson. No need to use them. Okay. What about slang? What about the slang? What is the slang actually? Slangs? Mm-hmm.
It's like the words that are informal, and mostly we use them in speaking, not in writing. And they are used like among a specific group of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So these are the words. They are not as vulgar, as obscene as vulgarisms. They are not. They are quite decent. They can be considered decent. Yet they are, as Laura has mentioned, they are quite specific to some groups of people. Yeah, they are called. They are considered as slang. Especially slangs um, are actually the English society is very rich for slangs. They have so many slangs and slang groups, subgroups in different areas of the UK. They have their own specific slangs. You can actually look at the urbandictionary.com. There you will find some slangs. They just like colloquial words, the everyday speech words. And the very interesting thing that slangs cannot be understood by other groups. For instance, you are living in the northern part of England, yeah, and if you come to visit the southern part of England, and you will talk to the people there, and they will be speaking, they will be, let's say, making speeches with their special slangs. There is a possibility that you will not understand them. Mainly, it's like the accent, but for vocabulary, kind of it. You can actually check a um, very interesting page on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken, that is dedicated for British slang. I'm not really into. Um, I'm not into American slang. I don't know. Probably you guys know any pages that are dedicated to American slangs, or if that would be lovely if you share them at the seminars. Yeah, but on Instagram there is a page that is dedicated to British slang that is called How to British. So there are 2 or 3 women who are looking at the British slangs, and they are presenting the British slangs, especially they are looking at the modern ones. They do not look at the old English slangs. It's a very interesting thing. Okay, right. Okie dokie. So let's have a look at one of the slangs. So, for instance, we have the word toilet. Yeah. So, what kind of synonyms as slangs do you know for the word toilet? Anyone?
Lou, today's word
Yeah,
L-O-O.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Dana. Lou, WC. Yeah. Also, we have the word ladies' room. British people do use that very often. They say, "Oh, are you going to the ladies' room?" Yeah, this is it. And one more feature that I would like to mention about the slangs that they are not used for the dignified use. So it's not the words that should be used in the posh societies, yeah, posh context. Let's say they are not allowed to be used in academia in official style context. Yeah, and please try to try to avoid them as well. Okay, and one more thing about the slangs is that some slangs, not some, but most of the slangs, they are meaning based on metaphors. They have metaphorical meaning, and often, mostly, they have that very ironic coloring. So irony and metaphor is all about, they are all about slangs. Yeah. For instance, also, we talked about the toilet. Let's talk about the word money. Yeah. What kind of slang synonyms do you know for that very word, money, or the word money? Cash. Okay. Anything else? Moolah? I didn't know about it, to be honest. Okay, so very interesting. Coin. Yeah, maybe. The very interesting thing that in capital, I don't know, bucks. Okay, bucks, yeah, why not? The very interesting thing, like I heard British people using the word paper and beans for money. So beans, I don't know why beans. Okay, I do understand why they use the word paper. I have no idea why beans. Probably because beans are one of the most strategic, nutritious products for British population. Probably. So the very interesting one was moolah.
Can I say, like, maybe they're using beans because of like that story of Jack and the Beans, where like he grew the beans and he used to be poor, but then after he grew the beans, that's when he became rich.
Ah, okay, yeah, probably that's it. Yeah, thank you for your um, for your version. Thank you very much, Hajra. Yeah. Okay, as you see, there are many slangs for many words, both in American and British ones. I'm very sorry, but I'm not into American English. I can't make any, let's say, proper examples from that very field of language. Yeah. Okay, and the last one, let's talk about jargonisms. So, what about jargonisms? They are also the informal colloquial words that are certain for some social, for some professional groups. Yeah, they are. They also may have some metaphorical characteristics, metaphorical meaning. Yeah, and the very interesting thing, they are used all over. They kind of you will find them quite often. You will meet them quite often in the speech. Yeah. For instance, we have the word book. Yeah, the word book. This is the word that denotes the life sentence. So I don't know why book denotes the life sentence. Yeah. For people who are in that very circle of society, they refer to the word book as a life sentence. I don't know why. Okay, and the word rap, R-A-P, it denotes the meaning to kill, to rap, to kill. Actually, you will see the jargons as well, and if I'm not mistaken, jargons are quite popular, not say popular, they are distinctive for people who are in prison, who are under custody in jail. Yeah, this is about it. Yeah. What about stylistically neutral words, guys? Do you actually know them? What are
They're
they?
both colloquial and like formal as well.
Great, yeah. Thank you, Shah, for that. So these are the like neutral words. They can be used both in that very field and in that very field too. They're like leading the double life, let's say. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I forgot about the literary colloquial words. So we have that very colloquial words, literary words. The very interesting thing that literary colloquial words can be used both by educated and uneducated. This is people like uneducated bunch of people, societies, yeah, and they are actually you can actually meet them in the written text as well. And somehow, if you look at them, if you look at the etymology, they're quite in meaning they're quite near to the neutral words. Yeah. But the very distinctive characteristic of the literary colloquial words is that they have stronger emotional coloring in comparison with the neutral words. For instance, the word granny, yeah, grandma. So neutral word is a grandmother, grandma, but in colloquial literature, it's a granny, yeah, or makeup, yeah. What is the like neutral word is a visage, if I'm not mistaken, if that came from French, and in the literature, it's a makeup, yeah. And very interesting thing about them that about literary colloquial words that they are formed on standard word formation patterns. Yeah. For instance, they can be like phrasal verbs in nouns, they can be contractions. So they are like normal standard words. Yeah. Nothing much specific about them. So that's actually it about it. Okay, guys, we are going to look at the lexicography in the next part of our lecture. For now, you have 10 to 13 minutes to have a break. Okay, talk to you in 10 minutes, guys. So, okie dokie, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Good. So, so now we discussed actually about the stylistic differentiations of English words. Now we are going to look at the lexicography. So, guys, so lexicography actually, it's all about the compilation of dictionaries. So you may probably know that preparing dictionaries, making the dictionaries, compiling all the words, it's not an easy process. It takes a lot of time, right? And actually, lexicography still has some value even nowadays in the modern English, even though we have so many dictionaries that compile all the that has already compiled all the words that exist in English. Still, we have that urge to develop the lexicography. Why? Because the language is changing every day, because language is unit, sorry, not unit, language is the living thing, yeah, let's call it like that. I do not remember who exactly called it, but it is actually true that language itself is something that is living. It has some heart, it has some brain. Yeah. Okay, so according to Fontenelle, lexicography focuses on the compilation of dictionaries, and also it may focus on the description of some types of relations that are found in the language, in the lexicon. Yeah. So according to that, we are, let's say, classifying, making the classification, making the groups of two types of lexicography. They are practical lexicography and theoretical lexicography. The work by Fontenelle is actually quite nice. I will include it on the Moodle. You can have a look at it because, sorry, one moment, guys. Sorry, guys. Okay, so if you have a look at that very work, you will find out very much of interesting information regarding the history of lexicography, the broad expanded version of history. Also, you will find out some information on corpus linguistics. Actually, corpus linguistics is such a trendy thing, trendy branch of linguistics nowadays. If you do some research into the corpus linguistics, you will definitely get the grants, you will definitely get the scholarships. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to look at something new. Yeah. So corpus linguistics, actually, you can have a look at it as well. So this is also about the dictionaries, about the lexicon, but mostly about the pragmatic side of the words that are used in English, in modern English. Okay, so why dictionaries were compiled, guys? In your opinion, why scholars, why linguists compile dictionaries? Why it happened? Mhm. Why they started putting all the words into one book and collecting them and looking at meaning, in your opinion? Mhm. Any ideas on that? Okay, Shahzada, do you have any ideas? Okay,
To preserve.
To preserve the words.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Also, as I remember, there are prescriptive dictionaries,
Mhm.
those who are explaining how we can use words, where it is appropriate to use those words.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
for
It's like
that
that.
also.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank
Maybe I'm not really sure, but maybe in order to provide us about like basic information of definition of these words, like their as well as like their origins, like etymologies, grammatical pronunciation. Some dictionaries also consist of like synonyms,
Mhm.
as far as I remember.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Absolutely.
I guess
Thank you
it's
very much.
in my opinion, actually, I just think that the dictionaries like earlier has been compiled because in order to explain the difficult terms in English language, because if you know, like in the past, there were a lot of religious words. I mean, people were really like fond of the religious and all this stuff, and there were many words that were derived from the Latin languages, and maybe the dictionary is like earlier has been compiled in order to kind of explain these difficult religious terms and etc. Like it's my opinion.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Actually, that's true. Thank you. And Griselda says that dictionaries tend to favor certain kind of technical identification definition that we use. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the main reason why dictionaries started to be compiled by linguists is just to meet the practical needs. Yeah, to meet the educational, practical, pragmatic needs, because people had to know what particular words mean in 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 fact. Yeah, so it had that very practical need. Also, there is the cultural thing. There is the cultural importance of uh, making the collecting data into dictionaries, into compiling dictionaries. Yeah, because dictionaries nowadays, some of the dictionaries, the old dictionaries, they are considered as cultural artifacts, and they help to convey a vision of the community's language. So how the language was functioning in the previous centuries, in the previous eras, and how the actually language influenced the community, or the vice versa, the community influenced the language. So this is why compiling dictionaries can be quite important for us from the cultural perspective. Yeah. Okay, and I think you somehow agree that dictionaries, they are perceived by many, they are considered by many as some kind of authority, the records that have some kind of authority, and they somehow dictate how to use the language for us. So they like say, okay, actually the word go does not mean to sit, it means to go somewhere on our feet, yeah, something like that. So dictionaries can be considered as authorities. So people who compile dictionaries should be careful about the meaning that they are denoting, they are putting into the dictionaries. And we will actually discuss how difficult it is to compile dictionaries now. People should be very much careful when they do, when they make the dictionaries, when they collect data into the dictionaries. Yeah, okay, and let's go to the next one. So, how old is lexicography? So, guys, how old do you think lexicography is? So, lexicography is the process of compilation of dictionaries, yeah, dictionary compilation. So, how do you think old is that very branch of linguistics? Mhm. Any ideas? how old they can be. Okay, so the interesting thing that we can trace back the history of lexicology up to Middle Ages. So it started from Latin manuscripts. And in that very Middle Ages, it was mainly about the religious tracts, about the religious tracts, translation of religious tracts from Latin to German to French to English, etc., etc. But actually, the history of lexicography is quite rich, and lexicography can be considered as one of the oldest branches of linguistics. So, what are the dates of Middle Ages, guys? Do you know it? What are the years of that we consider as Middle Ages?
17th century, I guess, right?
Are you sure? So Middle Ages were before Renaissance.
Oh, before.
Before Renaissance, yeah.
Then it's 13? No, something like now. Yeah.
Mhm. So I'm not sure about the centuries, but if I'm not mistaken, the Middle Ages are starting from the end of 400 year BC, yeah, 497, I guess, 93, I guess, till 14th century. So it's like 6th century to, or sorry, 4th century, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, or 5th century. I'm not very good at history and mathematics. So 400.
Well, if it's before Renaissance, then this is right because the Renaissance starts like in the beginning of the 14th century, if I'm not mistaken.
So Middle Ages before 14th century, somewhere before. So last time I looked at it, if I'm not mistaken, it was 497 or 498. Yeah, this century, like not before century, but I forgot the Latin name for that. Біздің заманымыздың 491 білесінші жылдар, right? In Kazakh. So this is quite ancient thing, yeah? So lexicography is very ancient branch of linguistics, as we may say, as we may see, sorry. Okay, guys, this is how old it is. And let's look at the development of dictionaries in dictionaries of English. So the first bilingual dictionary was actually published in 15th century. Yeah, and it was, sorry, bilingual, not unilingual, bilingual. It was the the dictionaries were Anglo-Latin, Anglo-French, Anglo-German, and as I have mentioned before, the same with the Middle Ages. The dictionaries of Renaissance also were connected to the development of religion, development of Christianity. So people actually wanted to know what the Holy Scriptures, what the Bible actually says to them, and they started translating the Latin into English, into French, into German, and vice versa. After the Bible was firstly translated into English, it started being translated to other languages, into French, into German. Yeah, because English lexicographers were the first, were the pioneers of translation as well. You can actually have a look at it. And they were then, they made a huge revolution into the translation of Latin manuscripts, not only religious, but many others. And from English, the translations has started to spread into other languages as well. Yeah, unilingual English dictionary. The first one was published in 1604 by Robert Cordry. So Actually, Robert Cordry was actually a schoolmaster. You know who are the schoolmasters? The schoolmaster is a person who uh, is the head of the school. Yeah, is the director of the school. So he actually made a compilation. He compiled the dictionary, and he dedicated that very dictionary, the unilingual dictionary, for children who were studying at schools. So you see, even in the 17th, if I'm, or 15th century, is it 15th century, 1604, or 17th century? No, 17th century, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or not? Yeah, it must be 17th century. Yes. So even in 17th century in England, there was a developed organism, like it was that the school system was quite developed, that headmasters started publishing the dictionaries for their children. So they started looking at their language centuries ago, while in Kazakhstan we're still ahead of that. We are not even based the good dictionary of Kazakh language, the unilingual Kazakh dictionary. That's quite a shame, yeah, isn't it? And in 1721, Nathan Bailey, a man whose name was Nathan Bailey, I have no idea who's that, he made the first etymological dictionary, yeah, and that very dictionary uh, actually explained the origin of English words, and that was a revolutionary thing back times. It explained many things about the language, and based on that very first etymological dictionaries, other dictionaries made made it start. They were developed based on Nathan Bailey's dictionary. And in 1775, again in Britain, in England, the man Samuel Johnson also made the explanatory unilingual dictionary. So, and a very interesting thing that in that very dictionary made by Samuel Johnson, the words, every word was illustrated by examples from the literary pieces. That is very interesting. And with that very help, the meaning of the word, the meanings of the words were clear enough for the readers. So why they were clear? Because by putting the extracts from the literature, there appeared a context for the words. So the words were easier to understand, to be acquired, because they were presented in the context. So this is actually the very good thing about the dictionaries. The good dictionaries always present the words in the context, so you can find out the real meaning of them. Yeah. So, and the very interesting thing that Samuel Johnson's dictionary, yeah, explanatory dictionary, was so much widespread because it has a lot of success, not only in on British Islands, but it went all over the world, all over the English-speaking world. Yeah. However, yeah, in 1858, Dr. Trench, he was the one of the members of Philological Society in one of the universities of England. He started, he raised the question of compiling all the words that exist in English. Yeah. So he wanted to compile all existing words onto one wholesome dictionary. And this started in, let's say, in a companion. Yeah, there he started a companion where he asked everyone, all the people, all the volunteers, to include the existing words of English, and it took actually a lot of time uh, developing that very dictionaries, and that very dictionary developed by Mr. that has started its roots by Dr. Trench is called NED dictionary. Yeah. And that very dictionary, in that very dictionary, more than 1,000 people participated in the development of that dictionary. So imagine 1,000 people took part in the collection of words, in the collection of the examples. So actually, the development of dictionaries is a huge project. It's not as easy as some may think. Please keep it in mind. Yeah. And the very interesting thing that only after 26 years later, in 1884, only the first volume was published. Imagine it took them 26 years to publish first volume. And in the first volume, there were the words that started with A and B letters only. Yeah. So imagine such a colossal work has been done. Yeah, Aristotle, that's astonishing, isn't it? And the last volume, yeah, it was published in 1928. Yeah, I don't know how many, around 40, 50 years later. Yeah, and NED dictionary contained 12 volumes, and that very dictionary actually was the start, was the head for the modern dictionary that we know, all of us probably know, because we do learn the words, we do look into that, uh, into from learn the words from that very dictionary, and it is very widespread. So in 1933, NED dictionary was republished, remade, and it was called the Oxford English Dictionary, the dictionary that you all guys know today. So one more volume was added. So nowadays, if I'm in 1933, there were 13 volumes. So NED went to OED. So it used to be called New English Dictionary, and nowadays it is called Oxford English Dictionary. So you may think why it is called Oxford English Dictionary, because the development of the dictionary was conducted in the University of Oxford. That is the reason. However, no, however, furthermore, the let's say the shorter Oxford Dictionary was published. Yeah, later I don't remember what it was, when it was, and actually they were published because the scientists and linguists continued to work on the dictionaries. Yeah, and in 1911, the concise Oxford Dictionary, which consisted only of one volume, one publishing volume, was published. So as you may see here, the shorter Oxford Dictionary, concise Oxford Dictionary. You may probably have Oxford dictionaries in your homes. I have one. It is very huge. The Oxford Dictionary is like that, very wide. It's very wide. So you can see. If you go to Interpress, you will find out that different types of Oxford Dictionary. Also, we have the narrow Oxford Dictionary, yeah, as well as concise Oxford Dictionary, narrow Oxford Dictionary. So many variations of. I have two, yeah, good. Many variations of Oxford dictionaries that are known as OED nowadays. But remember that it was primarily it was called as NED, New English Dictionary, and the question to compile that very dictionary was raised by Dr. Trench. Yeah. Okay, so that was about British lexicography, but what about American lexicography? Yay, so actually in 1798, Samuel Johnson Jr., that is the different Samuel, that is not the Samuel that we talked about previously. He was an American schoolmaster as well, yeah, and he compiled a school dictionary in 1798, also for the children in his school, in school he worked in, yeah, and the very interesting thing that very dictionary had huge success, yeah, it was the father for the other dictionaries, the following dictionaries that were published in America, in the US actually. And in the very beginning, that very dictionary, school dictionary, was quite small, and it used to be called as a school dictionary. And actually, Samuel Johnson Jr., if I'm not mistaken, he was from Connecticut. Yeah, and in 19,000, 2 years later, another dictionary by Samuel Johnson Jr. Was published. And in that very dictionary, Samuel Johnson showed Americanization words. So he didn't look at the British words only, but he looked at the words that are particular for American speech. That is the main peculiarity of that very dictionary. Yeah. And if you remember the Merriam-Webster dictionary, you may probably know about it. Yeah, many of us use it. So let's talk about that very dictionary's history. So first of all, that very dictionary was developed by Noah Webster. Yeah, he is actually considered as the father of American lexicography. And what he wanted to break away from English tradition, and he wanted to make the compilation of words that are specific to American usage of his very time, American context of his time. And he called his dictionary the American Dictionary of English Language, and it appeared in 1828, and it had 2 volumes. Yeah, he made an amazing job. There were revised many words. Yeah, and it became actually it became very widespread all over the United States. And the very interesting thing that in his very dictionary, Noah Webster wanted to simplify the spelling, and he also wanted to simplify as well the pronunciation. Yeah. And that very simplified spelling and pronunciation were specific in the period of time in the US that he lived, in the period of time he lived in. Yeah. So right, and actually he was like a kind of a patriot. He looked at the importance of the development of the nation, into the giving the energy into the American English. He wanted the American English to have that independent status of independent language. He wanted to make it distinct from British English. So actually he could do that. Yeah. So his progressive idea came into the reality, and nowadays we consider American English as the independent language, to be honest. Yeah, right. And why Merriam-Webster? Yeah, why not just Noah Webster's dictionary? So Actually, the Noah Webster's dictionary was quite popular. The first edition was very much popular. Why? Because it was clear, because it was had rich information. It has encyclopedic characteristics. Yeah. So, but after the death of Webster, there were two brothers, George and Charles Merriam. They were the family of the family who had the publication house. Yeah, publishing house. Sorry, they were the editors, and they bought the bought the rights on the Webster's dictionary. Yeah, and they started publishing their own the own edited dictionary. So there were second editions in 1964, 1990, 1909, 1934, and the last one 1961. And nowadays, actually, Merriam-Webster Dictionary is the huge institution, and there are hundreds or maybe thousands of workers, I guess, and they are working on the development of that very dictionary. And actually, there are also so many dictionaries, American dictionaries that were developed by American lexicographers. However, we do not have much time to talk about it, right? Okay, right. So we have here the stages of dictionary work, stages of dictionary compilation and development. Yeah, and that would be lovely if you guys put those stages into the order. Can you make it, please? Yeah. So first of all, it is the setting of the entries. So what are the entries, guys? Do you understand what are the entries? Yeah. So entries are the words that are going to enter the dictionary itself. Yeah. Yeah, this is the first stage that is given here, but here it is the task for you guys, the task that you should discuss now. Here, the main characteristic is that all the stages given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7 stages are given in chaotic order. So you have to put them into the order. Yeah. So here is the setting of the entries, yeah, setting of the words that are going to be the part of the dictionary, the selection of lexical unit for inclusion. You know that, you do understand that, I guess. Selection and arrangement of word meanings, grouping word meanings when you do group the synonyms probably, or words that have some similar meaning to each other. Yeah, the arrangement of the lexical units, yeah, adding supplementary materials, the setting of the entries. Okay, sorry, again, here it is the mistake. Again, continue, only repeated one. Providing the definition for the meaning, yeah, and giving the illustrative material. So these are the one of the stages. Also, 7 stages here. And the very first thing that lexicographers do during the dictionary compilation, first of all, they select the lexical units. They work with the nation, work with the people, learning about the words that exist in the language, make the selection, sort out them, look at the look whether word is valid or not. So this one is the number 1. Okay, and the next stage, it is the arrangement of those lexical units. So they are like arranging into the according to the categories that they usually make. Yeah, and the next one, it is the setting the entries. So they are setting the words that are going to enter the dictionaries. So they are making some kind of a proper sort out of the words. The next one is the grouping of words, selection, arrangement, grouping of word meanings. They're making like a little thesaurus things, yeah. Next, fifth one, it is providing the definition of meaning for those words. They providing with a definition or translation. Now we are talking about the stages of development of unilingual dictionaries, yeah. And the last one of the last ones, it is the illustrative material. Many dictionaries, as you may have noticed, have pictures, have some supplementary illustrations that may help to acquire the word better. Yeah. And the last one, depending on the moods, depending on the productivity of the lexicographers, they make the supplementary material like in the footnote, they may write down the etymological characteristics, features of the word of words, yeah, depending on the, or maybe they will be talking about the pragmatical side of the particular word. So it depends. These are one of the stages of dictionary work, but that is not the fixed one. There must be some more stages. You never know. Yeah. And in dictionaries, the arrangement of words has two main types. The first one is the alphabetical order. You may probably know this is the order that is quite widespread. Yeah, we always find the words through the alphabetical order. And the second one is the cluster type arrangement. So what is the cluster type arrangement? It is when the words that can be identified as one cluster are arranged into the bunches and compiled into the dictionaries. Yeah, and some of the dictionaries may combine both alphabetical order and cluster type arrangement. Okay, so guys, which arrangement do you prefer, the alphabetical order or cluster type arrangement, in your opinion? Cluster. Ruzhan says cluster. Why do you prefer the cluster type arrangement?
Because it's very helpful.
Mhm.
And why, for example, during the alphabet order, right? It's harder to find the word that you should know.
Mhm.
And for cluster, I guess it's easier to find.
Mhm. Okay. Well, what about alphabetical order? Anyone who find it easier to use the alphabetical order in order to find the words in the dictionaries?
Well, probably it is easier to find a word if it is the dictionary of alphabetical order, just in terms of finding. But if you want to enlarge your knowledge in terms of different synonyms or the words that have a different denotational, connotational meaning, or probably, then I think that cluster type arrangement will be more beneficial for you. Because there are adjectives or nouns or verbs that refer to a particular topic.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. Yeah, and you guys, guys, both of that types of arrangements have its own advantages. Yeah, the alphabetical order provides us with the easiness, so it is easier for us to find out the word from the bunch of other words. Yeah, among those other words. And the very interesting thing that it is somehow it is more, let's say, richer when it has it is arranged into the alphabetical order. Yeah, because apart from finding the words easily, in alphabetical order, the dictionaries establish the meaning, establish the value, establish the frequency of the word. So it gives some kind of a pragmatic knowledge, background knowledge to the word as well. However, with the cluster arrangement, cluster type arrangement, there is one thing that helps the dictionary. It is the that cluster type arrangement requires less space. Yeah, very interesting. And one more thing is that cluster type arrangement provides a more clear picture of the relations between lexical units. Yeah. And actually, some of the in the cluster type arrangement, you can find easily the words that has the same roots, the word that has same denotational meaning, or the words that's quite close in their frequency of usage, the words that have the same values. So you can find, so as Nastya has mentioned, the cluster type arrangement makes some possibilities to enlarge in your vocabulary, whereas alphabetical order works on the quality of your vocabulary acquisition. So I think it is good when both alphabetical order and cluster type arrangements are combined in one dictionary. This is what I prefer myself. Okay, so we actually have different types of dictionaries. So the first one, unilingual or explanatory dictionary. This is the type of dictionary where only the definition, the dictionaries that give definition, yeah, the unilingual, one of the examples of the unilingual dictionary is the OED, Oxford English Dictionary, because it is written only in one language. It gives the meaning in English for the English words. Okay, and we have here the diachronic dictionaries. The diachronic dictionaries, they are the dictionaries, the type of the dictionaries that reflect the development of English throughout the history. Yeah, and it looks at the forms of the word. It looks at how the meaning was changing and how the register or a style of the word, particular word, was changing throughout the particular periods. Yeah. And this is it. Okay, and we have term dictionaries. They are the dictionaries that cover the terms that we use in our life. Yeah, so as the name itself says, it is the type of the dictionaries that works with the terms. Yeah, and the interesting thing that in terms dictionaries, they also have a look at the pronunciation. Also sometimes may have a look at the etymological side of the word. So it says it is looking at the usage, and it sometimes looks at the origin of words as well. Okay, right, and bilingual. Yeah, dictionaries. We all know about the bilingual dictionaries. We have many of them: Oxford English, Russian English dictionary, for instance, or just so many English, Russian English, Kazakh Russian English Russian Kazakh dictionaries. They are bilingual, trilingual, and other dictionaries. They are just focusing on the translation of the words. And we have one more type of the dictionary. This is a special dictionary. Yeah, they can be glossaries. What are the glossaries? The dictionaries of technical terms. Yeah? So they are consist of the words that are chosen according to the particular sphere of human activity. And they are looking at the words that are used in that very particular sphere of human activity. For instance, there are technical dictionary or glossary of mathematics in English, yeah, or dictionary of law, yeah, glossary of law terms, uh, glossary of logistics, glossary of pedagogy, etc., etc. The next type of the special dictionaries are the phraseological dictionaries. Yeah, in that very type of the dictionary, we usually put the abbreviations, some phraseological units, idioms, proverbs, sayings, the loan words, or as we call them, borrowings. Even neologisms also may be included in the phraseological dictionaries. And the last ones, they are synonymic dictionaries, or as we usually call them, thesauruses. These are the but sorry, no vocabulary dictionaries that contain synonyms. Yeah, synonyms and antonyms. They they are found also, if I'm not mistaken, there is a thesaurus Oxford, a thesaurus of English language made developed by the Oxford University Press. So you will find out the many dictionaries of synonyms made by different universities of the UK. Actually, there is also the Cambridge one, the Macmillan thesaurus. There is a huge variety actually. So this is all it. What I wanted to talk about, guys. Really, it was nice to see you. Yeah, even though you didn't turn on your cameras. I really enjoyed looking at Laura's profile picture. Yeah, so thank you for your active participation, Nastya, Arjan, Laura, of course. Yeah, Arsalda, if I'm not mistaken, Shahzada was very active today. Thank you, guys. Of course, I see you on seminars, and we have that very work by Fontenelle. I will, of course, I will add it on the Moodle, and that would be lovely if you read it, and we will discuss it on the seminar for week 7. That is going to happen in the next week. Yeah. Okay, guys. Hope the information was useful enough for you. Hopefully, you know more about the dictionaries, more about the stylistic differentiations of English verbs. Have a lovely day, and I see you at the seminar classes, guys. Have a lovely day. Take good care of yourselves. Thank you. You too,
Bye.
Arsalda. Bye bye. Take care.